Hello and welcome again to Viking MtG Talkr. In this case, I'm going to bring you my thoughts on the Masterpieces series. This is an interesting announcement that Wizards did, especially through the voice of Maro, like always. In this case, we're talking about the expeditions, so to say. This is the premium cards that you can find rarely in any booster pack with certain objectives that we will analyze from the article of Maro. As I told you from last video, I like these very much. They are beautiful. However, I was thinking about the consequences and the implications it could have. In any case, well, there are some very nice reprints, especially the Soul Ring and the Aether Vial. Crucible of Words is a beautiful art, but there are some other fan favorites amongst the gear hogs that, well, I'm not so excited about. So, to start with the announcement from Maro, I will leave the link anyway in the notes, so you can check it out, read it. It's an old article anyway. He talks a lot about including these as a permanent addition from now on to every set. Most probably because the expeditions in Zendikar and Battle for Zendikar were a great success. However, he also mentions that he wants to put some of these more cards in circulation. This is the reprinting, without having to put them into standard. And well, finally, it should affect the prices on standard. So in general, that is like the idea. Let me preface this by saying that at the end of all, Wizards is a business. So as a business, they want to make money. So these premium cards generate a way to get you interested in the buying of the product, of the new product, no? Because some people will be hunting down these extra special cards. So let's discuss this a little bit point by point, no? First off, prices. This is something I already had thoughts on when the expeditions were out. First off, they are an excellent way to create trade fodder for the standard players, because, you know, most of them won't be interested unless they play some Eternal format on top of standard. So they will trade them away to anyone who plays Eternal formats. This means that they will get at least some 4 to 6 cards out of the deal, so they can enrich their standard deck. Anyway, this is something that I like very much. No, if you are lucky enough to open one of those, because they are pretty rare, then you have one, and you can finally finish that standard deck to play in the tournaments for the rest of the life of the set, no? But the other thing is that what they want to do with these is to reduce the prices on standard. This means that more people, well, officially more people would buy the product, and thus the prices would be pushed down a little bit, so standard becomes more feasible for the players. Since this is a rotating format, paying 600 for a deck is maybe a little bit too much. This is something Saffron Olive from MTG Goldfish analyzes a little bit, and he speaks about around 20%, I think 20 to 25% of reduction. This means that you will be able to buy a little bit more cards, or at least justify spending money on the standard deck, so you can go to your local FNM and so on, and still pay your normal life stuff. No, this obviously has a very big caveat, and this has been mentioned by many people, and that is that people actually buy the product to hunt down these masterpieces. No, this is something that happened during Battle for Zendikar, and well, other Gatewatch not so much. Many people started buying more product, and this is exactly the idea, no? That instead of buying, I don't know, 3 boxes, 4 boxes, you start buying 6 boxes, a complete case, or even 8 boxes or something like that, just to open 1 or 2 of these special cards. Now, however, this is the assumption that every time these masterpieces These masterpieces are spoiled, everyone is interested in them, and this is something that where I want to contrast the short term and the long term of these inclusions. Short term, yes, they will definitely push down the price of standard, because many people will be excited, many people will want to open those, and they will start spending a little bit more of money. I mean, I have done that on Battle for Zendikar, not on Out of the Gatewatch. I have bought more booster packs than I usually do, just to see if I could win on this lottery, which is a lottery technically. I was unlucky though, spoilers. But for example, a friend of mine opened 2 of them, one in Out of the Gatewatch, one in Battle for Zendikar, and he was able to complete most of his first modern deck, thanks to these cards, and to finish up his standard deck at the time. No? Well, this is always a possibility. This is obviously something that will only happen if you open one of those. No? So yes, most probably standard prices will push down. However, the long-term problem is how relevant will these masterpieces stay, and what kind of masterpiece sets will they be able to build on around what topics and so on. Right now we have artifacts. I don't know what the topic will be around Amonkhet, because well, it's an Egyptian theme set, and I don't think we have many Egyptian cards. But you know, it could be creatures, it could be instants and sorceries, it could be enchantments. Depends very much on how the story shapes up. Then on the next set, whatever it is, let's say Lorwyn, just a supposition because it's not true. You could easily generate the most popular creatures from different eternal formats, and that way you could interest people in buying those things. Now, and maybe the next set we will have another topic. However, as soon as we start arriving to the fifth block, on the 5th block, on the 6th block, what will be the themes that will drive those cards, and how many of them can they really reprint? Not so much because of a saturation or something, because these cards will not saturate the market at all. We'll see in a moment, they will do quite the contrary. They will generate a new premium card. Now, most probably, many people will lose this shininess to them, and people's interest will be less and less, especially now that we have so many supplemental products going on. There's 2 things that can happen. One, you will buy what you usually buy for your standard set, if you buy product, and try to buy as much supplemental product as possible, or on the contrary, which is the most probable, you will stop buying so much supplemental products to buy more boxes of these to hunt down these masterpieces. Now, this means that maybe standard will be cheaper, but I think Wizards may lose some of the money on the supplemental products, because we don't have endlessly deep pockets, and as far as we know from the announcements, there are a lot of products coming on. So many people, and this includes me and many friends I know, usually have a set amount for Magic cards. This is, we cannot be buying constantly all these new products. I already had this semester a lot of problems trying to get as much as possible, and this is because, well, I had from the last 2 years my standard allowance for Magic, no? I will not be buying, for example, more booster packs anymore for the standard sets. I will buy what I usually buy, which is a box and a few extras. That's it. And just to be able to buy first the Commander and then the Masters of Modern sets. I wanted to buy, for example, the new the Anthology series on Plane Chase, because I want the Plane Chase cards, but I don't think I can make it anymore. No, I already spent a lot on Eternal Masters, on Conspiracy, and at one point my pocket becomes empty, no, and my allowance is gone because I have to live on, no, and this is something that I see that could be a problem in this thing. Now, this is a lot of speculation, so I don't know how it will go on, but most probably many people will start buying a lot more boxes of the current set that is illegal in standard. No, so yes, most probably the price reduction will happen, but in a few years, what will happen? Will the people move on to the supplemental products, or will the people stay and buy more of the standard products if they have this money? No, and that is most of the public. No, I mean, I know few people who really have the disposable income to buy anything as soon as they want. Now, cards in circulation, this is, for example, one thing that I like very much. Yes, they will put a few more cards in circulation, and I said a few on purpose because they are pretty rare, and they function very much like a Modern Master set. And no matter how much you reprint or you do a new print run of this set, you will never achieve like a critical mass to reduce prices in general, no? But at least they give you a new kind of card you can collect and maybe pimp out your deck with. However, most modern players, legacy players, and commander players will maybe not buy these cards from boxes to get these cards. They will buy these cards directly if they have the money, and that's something that is very important, because this means that we have a premium product and the regular product, and for those who have more money constraints, they will only buy the regular product. But the pimped out cards, they look nice, no? So more power to them for whoever has them, no? So with this, I covered more or less the 3 points that Maro mentions in his article. On the prices, I've heard some people say that the prices of these fetch lands might fall. I have analyzed a little bit a few graphs on that, and there is definitely a little fall on the prices, but I don't think it's a very significant fall anyway. It's about $10 per card, depending very much on the card. I chose Scalding Tarn and Misty Rainforest, some of the most popular fetch lands, and at first they rose steeply when they announced that they would not reprint the Battle for Zendikar cards, but then they had a little dip, but the dip surely but slowly went up again. No? So yeah, there might be a slight price reduction on those ever popular cards, but I don't think it's like significant enough. The only way to bring down these costs is really to print them like in Cans of Talkr, and that is something very important. No, so yes, the Eternal formats will not be so much affected by the prices. And if we look at Scalding Tarn, it really hasn't gone that much down. Misty Rainforest a little bit more. Also something I want to mention is some little elements that were mentioned by Lacluse on the Random Discard podcast. I will leave a link again in the notes. And this will generate also some other situations. Something that some thoughts I already had. No, I will not deepen on these thoughts, but for example, confusion of new players was one of the things that were mentioned. That players open these and then suddenly realize that they cannot play it in standard. No, we'll have to explain to new players how these cards exactly work. Also, the danger of ripping off new players, which I do not agree totally with, but it can happen. Anyway, and that you affect the limited formats very much, because if you open one of the good ones, you pretty much are set to win your pot or your sealed tournament. However, these, since they are very rare, I do think they will not factor in very much into these kinds of tournaments. But when it happens, yeah, sucks. Okay. So in general, I mean, I like these reprints. They are very important, and they are very beautiful, by the way. But I don't know if this is sustainable for the long run. This is where I would have a few questions. Now, they will not really reduce prices. The real reduction of prices can only be made through standard sets or a little bit bigger print run of Modern Masters and Eternal Masters. But in the meanwhile, we have this way to get reprints of many cards. Now, be aware that the cost of these cards is totally another set of costs from the regular cards and even the foil printings of the regular cards. So this is a way to have another status enhancer in your decks. So if you are pretty much for it, go ahead, get them. But for example, for more limited players, I mean limited not with, I don't mean the format, I mean money-wise and time-wise and everything, I think we will just do fine with the regular cards. I mean, that's all we need. No, we don't need to pimp out, we just want to play, and this is something very important. I don't know how long people will be chasing masterpieces in general, but most probably at one point the exclusiveness will wear off, or this special feeling the luster will be lost at some point, and the cards will not continue to attract people to buy new products, especially when we have to make a choice between Eternal Masters 2 and this set. No, so in general, I mean, I like the idea, but I would love for Wizards to have done them like more limited, no? Like every 3 or 4 blocks, a little bit random, so we can't predict when they will come back. That way, some sets could sell better. I know they want money; they're a company at the end, and they need it. Well, they don't need it, but you know, the more they sell, the better they are, especially if they have to report to Hasbro. But in general, I think at some point they will not attract as many customers anymore as they should. Anyway, for Kaladesh will be one of the most sold sets this time, just because of that, and most probably Amonkhet too. I don't know what will happen in the longer term, in the longer future, no? And as long as the cards keep being interesting, like these ones, well, some people will try to hunt them down by buying product. Anyway, there are a lot of questions that we have to answer on that, and honestly, this is something we only will see in the future. The effect it had on Battle for Zendikar a year ago, almost a year ago, was only because we thought that was the only time that it would happen. Well, not the only, but like one of these exclusive moments it would happen. But now that we know it will be something normal, maybe our position will change around them. So anyway, go ahead, play your pre-releases, enjoy, and if you open one of them, well, congratulations. Get the cards you need, or put them in. Put the cards into your commander deck, so you have a very nice looking card there, and yeah, no, enjoy it, no? But you will ultimately have to make the decision if you will buy more product to try to win the lottery, because this is a psychological effect that will happen. As for me, I will keep buying as I usually do, and if I open one, cool. If I don't, sucks to be me. Okay, anyway, rate, comment, and subscribe, and if you have some comments on this, go ahead. If you have some thoughts on it, go ahead. Anyways, check the notes I left. You can find a lot of resources and discussion on this, and well, I hope you enjoy your premium cards. Goodbye.